Rose Diandante and Michael Davantes.
Kumusta po mga kababayan? Welcome po sa
Pinoy Pa Rin
with
Tenny
and Michael. At mula coast to coast, buong pagmamalaking itinaas ng Filipino communities ang bandila ng Pilipinas noong Hunyo 12, 2025 bilang pagdiriwang ng Araw ng Kalayaan. Isang makasaysayang taunang selebrasyon na nagbibigay din sa lakas, kultura at lumalaking presensya ng mga Filipino-Canadians sa buong Canada.
Habang patuloy ang Famous Center sa Montreal sa pagdiriwang ng Philippine Independence Day taon-taon, ang taong ito ay nagmarka ng isang bagong kabanata sa Cote St. Luke. Sa harap ng City Hall, ginanap ang isang formal flag-raising ceremony bilang paggunita sa 127th anniversary ng kasarinlan ng Pilipinas mula sa Spain. At kasabay nito ang unang Filipino Heritage Month ng lungsod ay formal ding inilungsad. Ang selebrasyon ay dinaluhan ng mahigit 100 katao, kabilang ang mga community leaders mula sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Canada, mga local na residente at miyembro ng lumalaking Filipino population sa lungsod. Ang programa ay inorganisa ng Filipino Heritage Society at United Against Hate Canada, na buong pusong nagpasalamat naman kina Mayor Mitch Brownstein at sa Cote St. Luke City Council para sa kanilang mainit na pagtanggap at pagkilala sa kontribusyon ng Filipino community. Ang makasaysayang seremonyang ito ay naging posible sa pamumuno ni Mayor Brownstein na tunay na nagpapakita ng dedikasyon sa pagkilala at pagsuporta sa multiculturalism. Noong September 2024, nakipag-meeting siya sa mga Filipino residents at civil servants upang palalimin ang ugnayan at pag-unawa sa community. Ang dialogong ito ang naging daan sa pagpasa ng isang City Council motion noong Oktubre na opisyal na nagdedeklara ng buwan ng Hunyo bilang Filipino Heritage Month sa Cote St. Luke.
First, I want to thank you all for being here on behalf of myself and all of City Council. And City Councilor Dina Burku, Mitch Kajowski, and Andy Schuster, who are with us here today. You are welcome to our flag-raising ceremony and the celebration of the 127th anniversary of independence of the Philippines. This is a special day, and you're a special community, and we love you all, and we want all of you who live in Cote St. Luke to enjoy yourselves, and those who don't, to move here and tell your friends.
Bilang bahagi ng selebrasyon ay nagbigay rin ng mga mensahe sina MP Anthony Housefather, Member of the National Assembly Elizabeth Pras. Nagbugay din sa entablado sina Alab Don, Chair ng Filipino Heritage Society, Ramon Vicente, President ng Filipino Family Services, at Ray Balanci, Commander ng Eastern Canada Region ng Knights of Rizal. Natapos ang event sa isang group photo, isang simbolo ng pagkakaisa, respeto at pagkilala sa makabuluhang papel ng Filipino community sa Cote St. Luke. Tinitingnan ngayon ang inisyatibong ito bilang modelo para sa iba pang mga lungsod. Umaasa ang mga organizers na susunod rin ang ibang bayan at borough sa Montreal region, lalo na yung may malaking Filipino population, na magsagawa rin ng kanilang sariling flag-raising ceremonies sa mga darating na taon.
Habang patuloy na lumalawak ang Filipino diaspora at nagbibigay ng positibong kontribusyon sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Canada, ang mga ganitong uri ng pagdiriwang ay mahalagang paalala ng inclusivity, pagkakilala at cultural pride. Sa araw na iyon, buong dangalo nakiisa ang Cote St. Luke sa mas malawak na selebrasyon ng kalayaan, kultura at komunidad. Isang makapangyarihang hakbang tungo sa tunay na diversity and representation.
Muli, shoutout kay Mayor Brownstein and Mayor Bays of Pierrefonds Roxborough for their leadership for being champions of Filipino Heritage Month. At mamaya ay makasama natin si Minister Rechy Valdez sa pagbabalik ng Pinoy Pa Rin. Welcome back sa Pinoy Pa Rin, and today we're joined by the Honorable Rechy Valdez, a true trailblazer in Canadian politics. Minister Valdez currently serves in the Cabinet of Canada as Minister for Women and Gender Equality and Secretary of State for Small Business and Tourism. She holds the historic distinction of being the first Filipino-Canadian woman elected to Parliament and appointed to Cabinet, na isang napakalaking karangalan hindi lang para sa kanya, kundi para rin sa buong Filipino community.
Minister Valdez has been a passionate advocate for diverse communities, women in business, and inclusive economic growth. At ikinararangal naming makausap siya ngayon, lalo na ngayong ipinagdiriwang natin ang Filipino Heritage Month. Hello, Minister Valdez. Thank you for joining us today and welcome po sa Pinoy Pa Rin.
Thank you so much for having me, Tene and Michael. I really appreciate it.
As the first Filipino-Canadian woman elected to the Canadian Parliament, in what ways has your cultural heritage influenced your leadership style and approach to public service?
Oh, that's a great question. It's truly, first and foremost, it's an honor to serve as the Minister of Women and Gender Equality and Secretary of State for Small Business and Tourism. And I feel like, given that I am the only Filipina in Parliament as well as Cabinet, I am a strong voice for Filipino Canadians across this beautiful country. And of course, given that it's Filipino Heritage Month, this is a responsibility that I take very seriously. And it's a true honor to be able to come back in a new government under Prime Minister Mark Carney, and again, to continue to advocate on behalf of Filipino Canadians and, of course, all Canadians across the country.
It's really great to hear how your background guides your work. And you've met with the Filipino communities across the country. What are some of the key concerns of aspirations they've shared with you?
Yeah, absolutely. With the Filipino Canadian community, I've heard a lot. Actually, one of the things that I have continued to advocate for, I'll talk about maybe the two big ones that are very specific to the Filipino Canadian community. One of which is ensuring that we're always taking care of our caregivers. In this country, actually over 90% of the caregivers who come into our country are of Filipino descent, and their contributions to our community have been astounding. They're the ones who care for, our seniors, our children, and those who are most vulnerable. And they make a lot of sacrifices when they come to this country. And as a result of a lot of advocacy from the Filipino Canadian community, and of course, advocating on their behalfs, I'm really happy to say that we now have, through the home care worker pilot program with regards to immigration, now the caregivers who come into Canada will get permanent residency upon landing. And I think this is something that they've advocated for a long time, and I'm really happy to share that we've made that happen. We have a clear path to permanent residency, and that's very positive for the Filipino Canadian community. And the second thing is something that's very personal to me. I think Tene and Michael, I'm sure I've probably shared with you, my dad was an engineer and my mom was a nurse. Much like many Filipino families in this country. But when my mom's credential, or actually when we came to Canada, her credentials weren't recognized. And so she had to sacrifice for our family, go back to school while working full time. And that sacrifice paid off because in the long run, she was able to get her credentials recognized. But a lot of Canadians, particularly the Filipino Canadian community, are really challenged with getting their credentials recognized. And so I want to share with everyone that, with the work that we're doing with provinces and territories, we're advocating on behalf of all, especially within healthcare and different foreign credentials. We're trying to ensure that we're unlocking those opportunities, and we're working directly with our provincial and territorial counterparts in order for us to be able to do that. So those are two things that I hear from the Filipino community specifically. But of course, our kababayans, are requesting many other things that Canadians are asking for with the cost of affordability that are happening. And that's why I'm so proud that our new government is giving a middle class tax cut to Canadians. So if you're a two-income family, up to $840 a year is what you will be saving, and that money will be put right back into your pockets as well.
Mahalaga nga ang mga isyong ito para sa ating komunidad. So, in your work as a member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister, how are you supporting Filipino entrepreneurs and women in business?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. For those who are listening and that are not aware, prior to entering politics, I did 15 years of corporate banking. And then what happened was I discovered my creative passion when I baked my daughter's first birthday cake. And that became the catalyst for me to discover my creative passion. And our federal government has been doing a lot of amazing work to support our incredible entrepreneurs across the country. And in particular, I'm glad you spoke about women. We launched our women entrepreneurship strategy. We've invested $7 billion into investing in women entrepreneurs, and the impact this has had has helped 400,000 women entrepreneurs across the country, and of course, advocating for all small businesses as well, providing supports, tools, resources to support them. But the key thing with our new government is we're advocating for creating an economy where we can ensure that in order for us to build the strongest economy in the G7, we won't be able to do that without the full and equal participation of women and gender diverse people.
Well, thank you so much, Minister Valdez, for sharing those insights about your work and community's involvement and needs. It's truly inspiring.
Yes, up next, we'll talk about your new cabinet role. So don't go away, magbabalik po ang Pinoy Pa Rin. Welcome back sa Pinoy Pa Rin, and we're continuing our conversation with Minister Retchie Valdez upang tingnan ang kanyang mga prioridad at ang epekto ng kanyang bagong tungkulin sa cabinet.
Yes, Minister, you've recently taken an important new responsibilities. What priorities or initiatives can Canadians expect from you in the months ahead?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, as I've said, with our new government, we're really focused on results, delivering economic growth, and making life more affordable. And our goal is really to create one Canadian economy, not 13. And we're going to be doing that by ensuring that that for women and gender diverse people, this is with regards to the women and gender equality portfolio. We know that women, for example, make up half of Canada's population, and it's really about unlocking their full participation in the economy. And it isn't just the right thing to do, it's really the smart thing to do. With regards to small businesses, they're the backbone of our economy and our communities. And my focus is ensuring that they have the tools, supports, and conditions that they need to grow, hire, and thrive. And then with regards to tourism, I mean, Tene and Michael, you're out there in Montreal. I mean, that's a robust, incredible city where that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial adventures. It was right there in Montreal. You have so many incredible downtown cores, a lot of tourist attractions. I've been to many of them myself. And our Canadian tourism sector is a powerful economic engine, and they support jobs in hospitality, arts, culture, transportation, and more. And really, my goal is ensuring that with these three portfolios, it's really integrating them so that we can, ensure that we're growing our economy strong, creating jobs, and really, like, given the situation down south with President Trump and his unjustified tariffs, this has created such an incredible opportunity for our country. You can see that Canadians are more patriotic these days, and it's really ensuring we're leveraging that positive, enthusiasm that Canadians are having in supporting local businesses, buying local, buying Canadian. And a lot of our decisions you will see in the next little while is all about building our economy and creating the strongest economy in the G7. So those are kind of like my overall overarching goals and priorities with my specific portfolios, but it's like bringing that all together for the benefit of all Canadians.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting to hear the momentum you're building in your new role. So what advice would you give to young Filipino Canadians who are looking to lead and create positive change in their communities?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get this quite often, actually. A lot of people ask me, what should I do? And I think what I'm starting to see now is I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing with our kababayans across the country. Kababayans are stepping up into leadership roles. And you know what? It doesn't matter what industry or profession you choose. What's important is that you're choosing a profession and a career that you're passionate about, that you're excited about, because you're going to be doing it every single day. So ensuring that whatever direction you choose, arts, history, politics, small business, entrepreneurship, whatever, or even healthcare, whatever field you're in, making sure that you're choosing something that you're passionate about. It'll help get you through those challenging times or more difficult days. And I think the thing I'd like to share is we tend to be a community that is a little bit more timid, a little bit more shy about articulating or sharing who we are. So I'm always encouraging us to lean in, to put yourself out there. And I think what I really want to share is that when you do that, I recognize there's a bit of fear and anxiety when you do that, but it's actually very rewarding in the end, because you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you might actually surprise yourself in the process. And I can share, from a personal experience, it really is about making that first step. It's pushing yourself out of your comfort, you know, kind of overcoming your internal fears, whatever that may be. Because I really feel that as a community, when we work together, when we uplift each other, when we unite together, we can become stronger. And I've seen both of you. Can I just say hats off to both of you?
Oh,
You
thank
both
you.
are leaders in the community. I see the work that you do always when I'm, working with you, and what you're doing to uplift and tell the stories of our Kababayans. That's a perfect example of how we can do that. And by sharing stories, it will continue to inspire others, and that will continue to help uplift us and kind of give us a really strong sense of hope.
And finally, Minister Valdez, with Filipino Heritage Month now underway, ano po yung mensahe mo sa lahat ng Filipino Canadians across Canada?
Yeah, so first of all, yesterday was Philippine Independence Day. We celebrated 127 years of independence. And I always reflect, Michael and Tene, on my incredible lineage and heritage, especially because my mom was from Bataan. And if you don't know about Bataan, we have a very strong history in the Philippines. It has a lot of, unfortunately, really downsides with the death march that took place there a long time ago. And a lot of that weighs on me in this time, because so many of us come from, we know what we went through, our lolos and lolas, the type of resilience that was required for them to, resist, stand up for what they believe in. And so when I think about Filipino Heritage Month, I always remember Philippine Independence Day and all the veterans and all those who have served our country to give us the freedoms that we are all, we have the privilege of being able to, have today. And so that it's very profound when we raise the flag on Parliament Hill this week. I remember all of that, and we stand on the shoulders of all of our families, and everyone that has gone before us. And that gives such a positive reminder for Filipino Heritage Month that we must always be proud of who we are. And I always tell this, especially to young people, that our Filipino-ness is our superpower. It is what differentiates us in this world. It is what ensures that we are able to, navigate with care and with our family values, and all the things that make us very unique and kind and hardworking. Those are things that we should be very proud of. And so if I tie it all together, Filipino Heritage Month, I'm very, very proud to celebrate, because for our future generations, our kids and our grandkids, they will continue to remember who they are, and we can celebrate our food, our culture, our music, our language in all of the beautiful ways. So throughout the entire month of June, I wish everyone happy Filipino Heritage Month, maligayang buwan ng pamanang Pilipino, but most importantly, enjoy the celebration together with family and friends, and make sure to support our local Filipino businesses and festivals throughout this entire summer.
Once again, Minister Valdez, maraming salamat sa iyong suporta, sa walang sawang suporta sa amin, and syempre for taking your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you both for everything you do as well. I really, really appreciate it. Maraming salamat, Pinoy Pa Rin.
Ayan, muli si Minister Richie Valdez. Magbabalik po ang
Pinoy
Pinoy Pa
Pa
Rin.
Rin. Bago tayo magtapos sa ating episode ngayon, we would like to take a moment to reflect on how meaningful this month is for all of us.
Tama yan, Filipino Heritage Month is more than just a celebration. Ito ay panahon para kilalanin ang ating kultura, ang ating mga kwento at ang mga henerasyon ng Pilipino na nagsikap para bumuo ng buhay at komunidad dito sa Canada.
At kagaya ng ipinakita natin, isa sa mga pinaka-powerful na moments ngayong buwan ay ang flag-raising ceremony in honor of the Philippine Independence Day. And seeing our bandila, the Philippine flag raised proudly sa harap ng mga city halls at government buildings sa buong bansa is a deeply emotional experience.
Yes, totoo yan. It reminds us of our roots, our resilience at ang mga values na dala-dala natin. Hard work, family, faith, at ang malalim nating sense of community. Nakakataba talaga ng puso.
At syempre, ang naging conversation natin with the Honorable Rechy Valdez was a true highlight. Isa po siyang proud Filipina making history in Canadian politics.
At bilang Minister for Women and Gender Equality and Secretary of State for Small Business and Tourism, ay may mahalaga siyang mga tungkulin na talagang may epekto sa buhay ng mga tao, kabilang na mga miyembro ng ating sariling komunidad. Sobrang nakaka-proud. Ito ang achievement we all share and celebrate together.
So marami pong mga events across Canada ang nagaganap to celebrate the Filipino Heritage Month. Sana po ay makapag-participate po kayo and show our pride in who we are.
Yes, at bago ko makalimutan, Tenny, ay may special na mga pangyari sa aking pamilya, Tenny. Ang aking pamangkin na si Arian ay kabuwanan niya ngayong Hunyo. While my other niece, Raya, got married at hulaan mo kung sino ang nag-officiate ng kanilang kasal.
Ikaw?
Hindi. Ito ang
Sino?
walang iba kundi si Councilor Stephanie Valenzuela.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, ayan.
Wow, congratulations, double celebration.
Yes, exactly. At syempre, ginanap rin na ang reception sa embassy sa Ottawa, Philippine Embassy sa Ottawa. Ngunit pareho tayong hindi nakapunta dahil syempre meron tayong mga kanya-kanyang mga
May
lakad.
trabaho.
Yes. Pero ito na nga ang parang huli ng pamamaalam ni
Yes.
Ambassador Austria.
Yes, si Philippine Ambassador to Canada, Maria Angelita Austria, actually, ilang days na lang dito and babalik na siya sa DFA Manila. So, we are expecting another new Philippine Ambassador. So, wala pang sabi kung sino talaga ang
Yes.
magkukuha ng posisyon sa
Yes.
Embassy Ottawa.
Pero yun nga ay syempre, mamimiss natin
Yes.
si Ambassador Austria.
Marami pong salamat sa pagtangkilik sa aming programa.
Na napupugay sa ating lahi, diwa at kultura.
Ating pong isigaw, saan man sulok ng mundo,
Na tayo po ay Pinoy pa rin.
Pinoy Pa